What is up, my dogs? It's your boy, Mike Mason. Yeah, we're here for a very, very, very special show about a really special event, the Highland Flames in Scotland, taking y'all worldwide, baby. And sincerely, this was the glass trip of a lifetime for me. I'm really excited to share this. This is a tattoo level event, man. We're all out here getting thistles. It's really something special that I'm excited to share. And I'm really excited to introduce some homies I have with me tonight. Let's go ahead and take you up to them. First of all, we'll just go kind of like across the screen or whatever. With us is Hive Glass. We have an amazing demo from you up tonight, buddy. Thank you for joining us. If you could you tell them a little about where you're from and what it is you're up to?
I'm in the UK, part of the UK Glass collective that we've got going here. And yeah, I go by Hive Glass. My name's Frank. Been blowing glass for 11 years now, I think.
Okay. All right. Very good. And no, next to him, the man, Charlie, the person who puts all the energy and love to make this event possible. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, guys, how you doing?
Yo, I'm great. I'm thrilled to share this. Yeah, dude, do you want to tell them a little bit about where you're from and what made you want to do this event?
So we're from Glasgow in Scotland, and what made us want to do the event was we went to our first event in 2017 called Borrowfest, and immediately we're addicted to glass. So the following year we had our own event, and we've carried on since then.
Okay. Very good. So just a straight addiction to glass. I think that's pretty much that's all of us, and I think that's our audience out there as well. Bert, tell them a little about yourself, man. I'm so glad you're here.
Mate, yeah, pleased to be here, mate. Yeah, I'm Burtango Glass. Been melting glass since 2014. Massively inspired by people like yourself, but originally from day one, people like Hive Glass. Bought my first piece off Hive Glass, Frank. People like Doc and that, inspired by loads of people. Now, I mainly do non-functional stuff, marbles, pendants, really into my honeycomb sort of stuff at the minute. Do a lot of gold and silver fumed implosions, pendants and marbles and toppers and that. And I just love the glass scene. I'm part of the UK Glass Collective, the same as Frank. Me and Frank form that between us and everyone else. And yeah, we've got an event on this year ourselves, being sponsored by like another event that just brought us on. So we've got a couple of platforms at the minute, a couple of events supporting us. Highland Flames have always supported us from day one with charity fundraisers, raffles, and always supported us. So yeah, me and Frank sort of like at the forefront of that and just always pushing it in the UK. That's our jobs basically.
All right. You guys are like lock, stock, and two melting torches over there or something. All right. I'll stop. Okay, let me introduce to the left or right of me. I don't know how this software works, but whatever. My boy Kai, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? Hope everybody's having a good year. Getting ready to watch this footage is going to be pretty chill.
Yeah, man. Heck yeah. All right. And, speaking of footage, I've really put a lot of energy into the show we're about to see tonight. But there was something that Bert insisted I share because when we were out there, the homie set up this unbelievable honeycomb and then insisted that I actually pull it. And we're going to go ahead and pop a little bit of that footage up, and we'll talk about that before we jump into this real show with an absolutely
magical moment.
It was not so much for me, like I was melting, but
magical moment. for me it was a magical moment, and special, man, special, trust me, very special. When your peers come you know, collab with you and getting a piece down that they do that you do, and it comes to, mate, that's special, bruv. Come on. Ping.
Yeah, it was
Bless up.
pretty sweet. Like, so we're just gonna kind of scrub through this. All right, look at this thing, you guys.
That's a monster.
Yeah, this isn't exactly how I would do it, but Bert, tell them a little about why you set it up this way. Yeah.
So the reason I find personally that I can set it up, so if I've got a nice long handle that I can hold, and then when I group everything together and strap them with hairbands, nothing's touching any fume at all. I've got a decent amount of glass that's not going to burn me. It's a little bit of a pain when you know when you get it in there, but just for me to get the rod scratch free, as much fume staying on, lacquered on, and not coming off, and that method for me, it works for me. It's a bit wasteful, I'm not going to lie, but my best one. If I'd done it shorter, I start getting scratches and I'm losing cells. So that's just, I've got Millie in there where I've watched my progression where I've got missed cells and it gets better and better, and then bang, when I do the long rods, it just nails it for me personally. So we've just stuck with that.
Yep. And so I remember I was just doing my best to try and get this hot, and then you were coming in with the giant diamond shears there and trimming it down. This was quite the feat, as it were. Oh snap, what happened here? There we go. Let's move this back over. And we'll just keep on going. This was honestly a giant pull that I used like 3 different torches because each one had like their own oxygen and fuel tanks, and I was just murdering them.
Didn't we?
Yeah. We were just like having to move from torch to torch to actually get this thing pulled down. And there we go.
That was in the GTT section. Two Mirages next to each other.
Yeah. And at this point, after
you should have thrown 2 of them together just to get the point.
Yeah, it was like the toughest 11 minutes of my life kind of thing.
You haven't worked out like that since, have you?
Oh no, not at all. I'm still recovering from that.
Mate, you absolutely smashed that, bro. Honestly,
Cheers,
you had
buddy.
wet towels.
One arm's big.
There was steam pouring.
The red
off
towels
of you,
was
bro.
good, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was amazing, mate. The steam, I'll never forget them steam pouring off your shoulders, mate.
it was pretty wild. Yeah, the homies threw wet towels on my arms and
That's the only glass blowing I seen the whole weekend. Was watching the start of the whole thing to start to finish. Amazing.
I mean, look at that shot there. Look, that's what you want to see. Mike Mason pulling down the biggest.
That's got to be the biggest. Is that the biggest one you've done so far? Is that the most sales?
I thought so. Because I've tried to do them a bit shorter since then, because that was a little bit immense.
Fucking big.
But I think I got a bit carried away because Mike Mason was there. I wanted to give it sides like we don't fuck about down here, bruv. Yeah. This is how we roll. Yeah.
This was
I
suppose
there was a bit of that in there.
Was it 100mm tube? How big was the tube?
No, it was not.
That looks like 75.
75 by a 2mm 2.5.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking serious.
It was quite stacked.
Yeah,
and tube makes you look so small, Mike.
Most cells.
Oh yeah,
most cells.
I'm 6'5" normally or something. Yeah,
Be like this. It's just 22, guys. I don't know what the big deal is.
Yeah, they're like, let's hand the biggest tube to the smallest guy and see what happens, kind of thing. And okay, check it out. Here's my man. Give me some love.
Coming in with the
This is getting a bit hot.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, this thing was going crazy.
I you all the way through, bro.
You need the AC suit
all the way through, wiping the brow like a doctor.
Yeah, this was pretty extreme as this went down, and
that's the bro lab right there. Put the apron on.
Yeah, that's real love right there, Bert. Thank you, buddy.
And the wet towel started coming out not long after this.
Real special time, mate.
That's what.
How did it pull down? How much cane did you guys have?
Footage, mate.
There was loads, weren't there?
Quite a fair bit. Yeah, I got a few quid out of that. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna have to give Mike a drink.
There's Phil Siegel and his wife, man, really awesome people, and
blessed people, man. So wholesome and humble, and just so nice to be with. I mean, I had Phil next to me all weekend.
Oh, nice.
Phil was super cool, man.
Great guy, man. Got a little collab in with him. Buzzed.
Love it. And yeah, so gosh, I'm trying to find the point at which they put those wet towels on me and it was just steaming.
Oh, there's my hard little
Oh, here we
going on.
go. Here
Oh,
we
is
go.
it?
Oh my God, Mike!
Fuck that, let's get Mike back on. Right, fuck that. Nitto that, bro. Let's get Mike back on this. I ain't doing
Yeah,
that.
this is
Right
the
there.
I call this
Mike,
the
is this what
human-
you call a condor?
Yeah, look at that. See, we need to get some
Yeah,
proper
yeah.
protective clothing for this year.
I was
reckon,
like,
but-
just drench me.
That's his superhero suit.
Yeah. I mean, if I do this work in the studio at home, I actually have like what's called a cool shirt, and it's the shirt that like race car drivers wear in their thing. It's a water cooled shirt.
Astronauts wear it.
Yeah, well, I have like the astronaut jacket that goes over that as well. But if you're doing a giant milli pull like this in one of those like jackets, it gets really, really hot. Those things don't breathe, kind of vibe.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, and speaking of, shout out to Amy Short for filming this, man. I handed her the camera and she was like,
Yeah.
"All right, I'm Mike Mason now."
Oh my God, I could already see the eye contact. Like,
Yeah. And whew, at this point, I think let's see if we can catch us on some of the other torches to finish it.
Jesus.
I think Amy got tired of filming at this point. She's like, "Whew, I see why we pay this guy." Or whatever, after like an hour of this shit. Kind of there's Doc in the background. Big shout outs to him, fucking
You get
legend
paid?
from the UK out there. And yeah, so I won't take all night with that, but that did happen. And
That was great.
yeah.
For me, that was the highlight for personally, that was my highlight of the weekend. It was
Oh,
just
cheers, buddy.
magical
Me too.
weekend, and that really topped it, bruv, for me. And I'm sure Frank found it fascinating as well. And I'm sure
Yeah.
Frank's got a great big chunk of it back home.
Oh,
like Doc
nice. Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
sure I've got some of it somewhere. Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
sure where
yeah.
it is. I think I've got
Yeah,
like a
there's a few
nice
boys.
like.
I asked Doc to bring it
Piece
to
of
the.
it.
How
Yeah.
long did
the
that
product
pull
out.
become?
It was quite
was
a lot.
giant,
It didn't
man.
all get pulled down. We had a nice bit of cane out of it, and then there was some huge
Yeah.
chunks and a huge knuckle. But I think one of the knuckles exploded in the kiln.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh, it didn't it? Yeah, Doc
Well, it was
took the one
unusable.
knuckle.
Yeah, there's always
Yeah.
like one
Do it.
side with all the like the end that's close to the handle that is generally unstable, and
Yeah.
I will always try and segment that out right away. It's like one of my first steps is to just get rid of that gangster handle, because yeah, it totally all the bullshit that you can't get perfectly solid, those will kind of want to stress the rest of it out. So it's quite possible to lose more of the good shit doing that.
Surprised it didn't crack like as it was, man. Because a lot
Yeah.
of the times that end will just fucking crack before you even get the chance to do anything with it.
Oh, sure.
Very
Yeah,
shocking indeed.
Yep. I really try
Yeah.
and work those in. Anyways, guys, I don't want to I didn't include that because I didn't want to like make the show about me, but your boy did
Well,
put
I'd
on
have
a
been very
fucking show out
disappointed
there.
if it weren't in there myself.
Yeah,
To be honest,
yeah.
I would have been very disappointed. Mike,
It was a
because
pretty epic pull, man.
They made
Yeah.
the better show.
it made my day. Charlie loved it. I know Frank loved it. A lot of people enjoyed it, and it was at the end of the day when you actually done the pull, there wasn't a lot of like punters coming in, like customers. It was just mainly staff, close friends, and it was a bit more personal. I thought it just went down really well.
It was
I think
really
it was quite.
nice.
It was quite late, wasn't it? It was quite late.
It
at
was
night.
very
It
late.
was,
It was
yeah.
very late.
You
But
know,
that's what I'm saying. That's what made it a bit special, because it was a bit more private. I don't mean to sound exclusive or like, but it was just more quiet and peaceful, and you could hear everyone talking. So it was just a bit more better communication with everyone, and that hustle and bustle and craziness, because it's a great day. It's very hustly bustling. There's a great buzz.
yeah.
But in the evening, it's calmed down and there's a bit more communication. Your mind's a bit clearer, and you need that when you're doing something like that.
Oh yeah.
You
No,
know?
I was pretty focused on
it's just
filming,
nice.
and yeah. And speaking of filming, we have a really special show I've put together, you guys. We're about to see a couple of demos. There's a few other smaller kind of demos in between, but really we're about to watch Frank here, Hive Glass, And he's going to insert a wizard perk that Phil Siegel made and then kind of make the joint and do all the plumbing. I know this is kind of a hot topic for our audience, and so I was really happy I had a really awesome example of this to share. And then we're going to watch some cup making as well. We're going to see Skrillinger put together a really amazing cup. And then Haze is going to make a foot and put a cup together. There's a little bit of Hick Dog in there. I won't spoil the surprise. And then Soulfire, absolutely amazing. We're going to watch her put the finishing touches on a beautiful collab that a ton of people were involved with. So I'm really excited to share this. We're going to pop this show off now. And yeah, thanks so much for being here with us, guys. And thanks so much to anybody out there pitching in and these companies who have made it possible for me to even be at a place like this. And then all these companies that help make the Highland Flames possible. Like these events just, it doesn't matter how much energy you have, the guy's not Elon Musk or something. It takes a community to come together to make something special like this happen. And so just a huge shout out to all these sponsors who made the event possible and the ones who have made it possible for me to kind of live this dream and help document something really special. And speaking of, here is the piece I was just mentioning. The everything was kind of shaped out at this point. This isn't going to be a full, demo of how to make this exact rig. We're right here at the most critical point. You've sized this thing. It's going to be a good fit. I assume you're looking at where the bottom's going to close on it. You've got enough clearance. And then I'll let you kind of do the talking here, man. But yeah, you've got it tagged to the wall that is still, it's not like there was a hole there, right? You just kind of are getting it stuck to the inner wall.
Yeah, I'm just literally lining it up and making sure it's straight, centered as in not twisted, and centered as in not left or right. And then also, obviously, you want that bridge to be right in the middle when the base is finished, or as close to the middle as it possibly can be.
I got you.
But yeah, getting that like this is the hardest part, just because when you put that perk up inside the glass, where the glass is shaped, it completely distorts what you're looking at and how much room you think you've got in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, because I want that, that bit at the bottom's got to be spot on, man. There's got to be the perfect gap where that bridge is at the bottom, because if it's too high, you're going to have a big long bridge there that's going to look silly. If it's too short, it's going to hit the perk and it's probably going to crack. So it's got to be spot on, man. And obviously for the function as well, you don't want them to have to stick a shitload of water in there.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Is there like a rule of thumb for how much space to leave there?
I try and aim for around 5 or 6 mil.
Okay.
But it's a fine line,
in
man.
inches, Frank.
Say again?
You're going to have to speak in inches.
In inches.
So, man.
Just want to say,
Quarter
I
of an
got
inch.
Frank how to do that.
Yeah, we measure things and that's like 1/2 of a Mustang key. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like, we'll use anything.
That's like a quarter of a baby toe.
Right, yeah. Anything but metric here in the States, unless we're buying drugs. Then
So, yeah, basically, here I'm just pulling out the glass and thinning it out until it just pops into a little nice, neat hole.
Okay, all right. And at this point, is the seal on the inside kind of safe, or are you're keeping it really hot because it needs to get worked
I think I'll go in with a hand torch, because if you don't make sure this is absolutely run in, it will crack.
Okay,
and
I like
then,
it.
Like, obviously, you're a bit fucked then, because you've already put the perk inside, and it'd be pretty hard to get it back out again.
I can't wait to steal that term, dude. I'd be like, man, that seal is not run in, buddy. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I've done a few. I made a piece, and I did it like 3 times in a row, man. It just cracked every time, and I was just like, what the fuck? Every time I managed to crack the whole piece to bits and take the perk back out and reuse it again.
Oh, nice.
Could I just ask, Frank, do you prefer using the torch or or a hand torch when you're doing it at this stage?
I will go in with a hand torch if I have to, just to make sure it's there. Do you know what I mean? But generally, I'll just use my little top burner and just keep hitting it with a reamer. You don't want it to get too hot around it because it will all start to kind of sink in. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah, if
But
it thickens up too
you'll
much
see when
there.
I do the next part, I don't go straight in and attach the joint straight over that. I attach another piece over that, make sure the seal's super fucking solid, and then I pop that and attach the joint to that then.
Very good.
Just so it's super safe, man. I mean, as soon as this is running now, it's super safe. Do you know what I mean? It's a pretty standard seal. Do you know what I mean? It's not until I attach that other piece to the other end that it becomes like a ring seal, so to speak. And
yeah, it's just like a simple seal at this point. Once it gets that other side, if you haven't done your job here, that's going to come back to bite you, I take it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'd just like to make sure I got this bit done because it's going to be out of the flame for a bit. I'm not a massive flame annealer, as you'll notice when I make stuff. I just kind of the area I'm working on hot.
Yeah, I did. I'd certainly noticed you kind of. I mean, you can call it what you want, but I noticed you do a lot of kind of a brushing flame to make sure everything stays very hot. So I did notice that. It's an annealing flame is a pretty wide definition, of temperature ranges, but I would say what you're doing is an effective form of an annealing flame.
Yeah.
Or
when I started out blowing glass, I was self-taught, and an annealing flame was like just something I didn't know about or never did. So I just learned to do things in another way.
I'm with it. Yep. It reminds me of Scott Deppy when he was talking at Glass Vegas, and he mentioned that out at Mothership, one of the event sponsors, shout out kind of thing. He mentioned that he has laser temperature guns at all of his lathe stations, and he really drilled in this notion that the glass is simply not going to crack if you have it above a certain temperature threshold. And it was almost, it was almost dismissive. Like, I remember like somebody in the audience was like, but what about this? And he's like, no, that shit just wasn't hot enough, baby. Come on. And
get hotter. Thank heat.
That's the thing I find. Like when you're using a annealing flame, it's a large flame that's enveloping a lot of the glass. And
it's just heavy propane.
When I used it a couple of times, the way I do things, I got cracks and was like, what the fuck? And I was just like, I'm not doing that annealing shit, man. It always cracks for me. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just like, just always heated the area I'm working on, or kept the area I'm going to be working on hot next.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think then just radiant heat just does its job. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, there's like two types of stress, as Roger Paramore taught me. I'm not like the expert here, but sincerely, there is mechanical stress, which is like when you've carved into the glass, you've created an acute angle, shit like that.
Yeah.
And then there's thermal stress, which is where you are forcing the glass into like a too steep of a temperature gradient, or like if you can imagine almost like a graph or whatever, you're making that line too steep, and you really don't want to have one area so cold and then a transitional area in the middle, and it just gets into that stress point. It's kind of part of the annealing cycle around that. I remember Jason Lee has this great little bit about it. He made a post and he characterizes this as like a monster, 950. As he calls it. It's like the Loch Ness monster of annealing or whatever. And but basically, when you hit that point, if there is mechanical stress, that's where it's going to be triggered. And if you're doing it live on the piece and you've got one part completely cold and then you're forcing some segment, rapidly to where it's super hot, the glass just doesn't like that. It's Boro, it's kind of magic, but it can't do it all, sort of thing. And so avoiding those temperature, those like steep curves on the graph or whatever, however you want to imagine it. Roger has like this great analogy, or maybe I just branched off of it, but he was talking about it at like the molecular level. And not that we need to be imagining that all the time, but essentially he was talking about how the heat moves through the glass, and like from the outer like layer of a tube to the inner wall, there's like a time where there is a difference, and essentially it's moving through the glass, and it's like a dance party. I think it was kind of the analogy there, was like they're hearing that vibe from that heat and they're starting to dance here, but they're not dancing yet. They can't hear it on the inside yet, or wherever that distance is. And I don't know, we're getting a little abstract now, but it's really important to make that heat move through it in a way that is kind of gradual and gentle and controlled. And I mean, it's why, like, if you just flash a rod, you get those spider web cracks. Like, that's just like kind of a core example.
Heated the outside and the inside's cold.
Right, exactly. That's like a critical thermal stress example. We don't necessarily have to get into dance parties and all that, but I think it's a fun analogy, and I do kind of imagine those glass molecules. I'm like, all right, we're all dancing now, and it gets to that, my classic dank heat thing, where the real proper heat that you want to manipulate glass at is not necessarily just a rage it and get it hot thing. It takes time for that heat to homogenize. So if you can take a few times to heat something up, and kind of heat it up a bit, let it mellow out, let that dance, let that groove move through the crowd or whatever.
Let it soak in, bruv.
Right, you gotta let it in. Right.
So
so
that bit at the end where I'm doing the
glass,
base, I think it's getting that hot. There's that much radiant heat. It's keeping the perk warm. It's keeping a good bottom half of the can pretty fucking hot. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to get a proper decent laser pen so I could look at what the temperatures are on the glass when I'm working it, and it would obviously give you a much better idea of where you are and why things happen sometimes.
Absolutely.
Those laser therms are
Aberfoyle there.
So guys, yeah, I snuck in a little bit of Grandpa Mike slideshow here in between some of these segments, and so this was really
great.
the first
Beautiful
day,
work.
Landing in Scotland, and then we went into Glasgow. We saw a Banksy exhibit. We saw all the cathedrals you could imagine. And this is the Necropolis, a really amazing graveyard. Europe's got all the best graveyards, kind of thing. And we did defile that statue with the Glass Vegas hat. And this is John Snodgrass, but like some kind of Snodgrass family out there with a Robert Snodgrass and everything. We retweeted that, and it was just shockingly beautiful out there. And I wanted to kind of sneak in a little bit of these incredible views, and there'll be some footage of some hikes that I took out there that were absolutely gorgeous. And this really was this is like your bucket list glass trip out there, homies. If you can make it out here at all, I know, especially if you're in the States, this is a big trip, but I absolutely promise you it is worth it. It is a tattoo yourself about it level event. And it's sincerely.
You're paying to take me this time, right, Mike?
Mike,
I wish, buddy. The new job.
We agreed on that, right?
Yeah. Mike, you were pretty drunk, and you did sign this contract stating that.
Yeah. So. We talk about it at the end of the show, Mike. Always.
At the end of the show. Yeah.
Oh, hey, nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They can't see that, but I can pause it. Can you show it again, Charlie?
Sure.
There it is. This is how the love in our industry goes around, man. Like, fucking Amy came out there and showed them love, and my man out here now has a Glass Vegas tattoo. Talk about tattoo level events.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really awesome, dude. And I have so much love for Glass Vegas myself. We've been with them from the very first year, and it's just been a real honor and pleasure to know Amy and her family. And
she's so cool.
Yeah, she's the best. And there's a chance she might pop in. I shot the link to the dogs kind of thing, and But in any event, so here you're shaping out the joint. Is that right? You're kind of hand forming it from a bit of
Yeah.
work too.
Yeah, I always shape my joints as much as I can by hand, and then just use the reamer to get the inside nice.
Sure,
I've made
sure.
that many joints now. I never use the tool. I have got a tool, but I just sometimes I like my joints to look a little bit different, or maybe I want to make it a little bit more low profile to normal. Do you know what I mean? To fit. Like with these rigs, I make sure the joint is level with the lip at the top of the can, like dead level. I want it to be exactly the same.
Okay.
So I might
I'm with
make
it.
the joint a little bit more low profile than normal or something, or even a little taller. Do you know what I mean? Because again, getting that like I was saying earlier about how hard it is to get the perk right at the bottom, you've also got that bit at the top. I want that joint to be level with the top of that can. I don't want it
Okay.
to stick up or down. So
Yeah,
that's why sometimes it can be an absolute fucking nightmare to get it right. I'll just
sure.
go through like 4 or 5 cans before I even get it right.
Is that like a functional or just an aesthetic thing for you?
Just aesthetic, yeah. I'm just
Okay.
anal about certain things.
Sure, sure. Nothing wrong with that, dude. Little OCD goes a long way in this biz, or whatever.
But that color was cool as well, man. It was amber purple over goldenrod, maybe,
Okay.
something like that.
Really nice. Yeah.
It was
That
orange
sounds like
on
a fun
the side.
combo.
Yeah.
It was a cool color, man. It came out nice.
That's awesome. Is that like one that North Star sent over or something?
Yeah. It was one of the tubes they sent over. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice of them. Big shout outs to all those sponsors. We'll see them
Yeah.
pop up here and there throughout the show because I want to honor them and their contribution to making something really special possible. And yeah, companies like this, it was pretty wild to see how many awesome things were sent over. And Charlie was like Santa Claus out there giving all that stuff away, man. He doesn't like to keep things, is what I figured out, kind of vibe. Like, no, that's for y'all.
It was sent to give away. Now I'm doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Hell
that's
yeah.
really nice. It's man, it's just,
Integrity.
This industry and this thing has been so like North American centric that to see, communities and collectives and all of this happening overseas and kind of spreading this movement is just really incredible, and it's awesome to see the kind of support going back and forth. It's like, I mean, obviously these people have customers out there, but this really is, it's a world away, and they're helping, really spread this around the world, and it's powerful.
So many guys in the industry getting involved now, Mike. Paragon Collins is coming this year. Dabright, Woodmat, Evan
Yep.
Shore Bangers. So I'm starting to see a lot of American companies coming to enjoy the show, which is really nice.
They're actually coming
Hell
over.
yeah. It'll keep getting bigger.
Yeah, that's it's great. Saw the Mood Mats homies in there, such great people. It's it's like I said, it's just really awesome to see kind of the support bleeding out along with the culture and the community. And it's just one of these things that I've tried to do myself, is make this world a little smaller for us, and we can be connected with other flame workers and this incredible ecosystem of events and demos and all of it, and to be able to kind of bring that home for y'all, and like I said, kind of maybe make this world just a little bit smaller place in a kind way. It's really been just like the dream of my life. I really have. I've been living a dream out here, and yeah, it's something really cool. So you suited that up really well, so you could use it to kind of give a final fit testing there.
Yeah, I stopped using beeswax quite some time ago because I just find it really messy. And I think it was it.
Yeah.
I watched Albo make one of his joints, and I was just like, "Don't you use beeswax?" And he was like, "Nah, just use a bit of soot." And I was like, "Oh." And I tried it, and I was like, "That's fucking perfect. It works beautifully."
Nice.
And yeah, saves any mess with beeswax because shit just gets everywhere, man. It's
It
crazy.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it drip into joints and make like a weird metallic sheen that would stick to the glass. Maybe I got it dirty or something.
Yeah,
but-
yeah, I've seen that. I've seen
Yeah,
that.
it's
Same
like
thing when it
there's-
runs down inside the joint and shit. That's the problem that I was getting mainly.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
sometimes it would actually get burnt on and leave like weird
Quartz
like
joints
they-
helps too.
Yeah, I like
That's-
the quartz joints. Yep.
That's
I
what I
thought
need
that
to
was
get.
like the coolest hack. I was seeing people using quartz. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. They're just
Yeah,
out there.
because I'll always finish with a 10mm joint just to make sure it's got that nice. It's got that nice. Do you know what I mean? It's got that little
Fit.
pull when
Gotta
you pull
get
the
it
joint
fit.
out. You know what I mean? You wanted to make sure it's got that nice sealed fit. But yeah, at every 10 joints or so, I need to change my 10mm joint that I use to size it. Because if I get a couple of them and hold them up to the light, you can see the joint slowly starts to wear. Even though I don't really grind it in there, do you know what I mean? I literally stick it in, make sure there's that seal and pull it out again. I don't really use it to like drive the joint open because I find that splits the joint sometimes and it can crack quite easily.
Sure.
But yeah, you do have to change them. I need to get a quartz one, man. That'd make life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, quartz definitely be the one, wouldn't it? That's
Yeah.
never getting them.
Yeah, when they sell the like 7mm tool or whatever, it like comes with the little quartz one and everything. I like that.
Nice. Yeah, I want one of those, man. I want to make some little mini recyclers, man, on like a 7mm or something.
Yeah. I'm remiss on who sells them, but it's out there. Maybe we can link it in the chat when this actually runs as we're pre-recording it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it was like didn't Paul Taylor sell them? I'd look on Paul Taylor's like big
Paul
cartel.
Taylor.
Yeah, I think so. Isn't that who it is? I could be wrong, but I think it was him. And yeah, he has a cool little kit with like a reamer tool, like a brass one, I guess, and then like a little quartz joint to finish them.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I like those brass ones.
Yeah, that's what I use, the brass reamers, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had those that's the like 10, 14, 18, the one I'm using there. But I just use that just to finish because when I flatten the lip on the end of the joint, obviously it closes the inside in as well. So I just use that to
Open it up a bit.
open it back up and make sure it hasn't closed off on the end.
Right on.
And
I got
here-
another question. Is everybody over there rocking Red Max? Or is there? Do you guys have a good? Do you guys have like a good selection over there too? You guys rocking like some
Everyone's
Carlisles as well?
I've been running that torch that was my first torch. It's gonna go real soon, man. I've got a Bethlehem
Frank's got
champion.
2 other torches that he
I've
won
got
at
two
competitions, and he still
champions.
uses that piece of shit. No disrespect to the torch company, but he should be using something a bit. But I suppose if you're comfortable with a torch, you're comfortable with that.
I don't know.
torch,
I've
innit?
seen some people do some magic with Red Maxes, and I'm like, wait, you didn't know the
This
red?
is what
All
I'm
right,
saying. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Same.
See the Red
same.
Max.
I've seen
You had one,
amazing
didn't you,
stuff.
Bert? You had a Red Max, and the Red
No,
Max.
I had a red rocket. That was I'm gonna eat all your oxygen today, bruv. That was that was my first torch. Yeah, it was a madness picking that torch for my first torch. It was just, it was
yeah,
a
'cause
fucking
mine is a Red
baptism
Max,
of
isn't it?
fire. That was
You paid for a new torch and oxygen real quick.
Is it the Red Max yours?
I ended up
the
going for
Red Rocket?
Bravo after that because I decided to go for
Same
oxyconn
thing.
system.
Okay.
Built my own home fuel system sort of thing, just like a HBO, whatever you call that.
Mm-hmm.
Build your own options in a storage tank, and then I've got a Mirage.
Oh, nice.
Just changed the game. But to be fair,
Yeah.
that Bravo, the Bethlehem Bravo, for what it was and what I was doing with it, I was asking way too much above and beyond what I should be expecting it to do, and it performed. I will never take that away from it. It performed massively. That little Bravo.
Yeah, it was
champion.
it was the Red
Well, it
Max
was the
you had.
Bravo.
Mine's the
No, I had the
mid
red
range,
rocket.
isn't it? No, mid range.
It's the Nortel Mega Miner.
Mm.
Yeah, the Mega Miner's got the square face on it. Mine's
Yeah.
got the round. It's the mid range they call this one.
Yep. Definitely mids. No, I'm just
No. It's definitely you definitely develop your own techniques with that top flame and the bottom bush.
Yeah.
It's really neat to see guys work that and then like go into like a Herbert Arnold and then end up like rocking a CC. If you can rock a Red Max, you can jump onto anything almost. I like that. It's like an ambidextrous torch.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. Ham at Pipe Classic, the final one, man. Ham put on an absolute show on a Red Max. Might have actually been one of these. I'm struggling to remember now, but it was one of these Nortels, and yeah, man, it was when he made the Pipe Classic letter piece, where it all flows through it. And when he was really starting to first explore those, and yeah, man, he really kind of made a statement with it, and it really just showed that you can do absolutely amazing work on these torches. So we do like to clown on them a little bit, but at the end of the day,
I think when you've been working on any torch for that long, you just master the way the torch works. Do you know what I mean? Like I've been on that thing for 11 years now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's clearly not slowing you
You can
down.
do that in your sleep.
Yeah.
That's the way I am with
one of the
CC.
reasons why it's been so hard to change over. Like I make the little drip rigs that I make that are really popular. I've made hundreds of them. If I was to switch over to another torch, I'm going to kind of have to relearn how I do that. Like, because my process works on the Nortel, it's not going to work on another torch. So that's one of the main reasons I just haven't switched over. But I'm going to do it real soon, man. I'm just going to switch it over because I haven't been making that many of the drip rigs anymore. So I'm going to be making new stuff. I might as well make it on the new torch as well.
Right. Good organic timing to make the move. I'm with it. But no, you're putting on a show with this thing.
Just put a miner on top of any other torch you have and you'll be set.
Right. Yeah. I love little hybrid torches where people like strap a Lynx onto the top of the Red Max or something.
Little Lynx crossfire. Yeah.
Yeah. Shout outs to everybody out there getting creative with your torches. That's for sure.
I mean, that's how we kind of like expand our knowledge base. Is like, you can't do that. Oh yeah, watch me.
Oh yeah. And so here you're making the little connector piece that's gonna go between.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I'm with it. Got you. Very cool. So you're just making sure that opening is wide enough to match the other one and everything.
I kind of always flare a little lip onto it so it can never go inwards. Do you know what I mean? It can only go outwards, so it should flow nicely. Then when I run it in with a hand torch, it's just going to flow nicely and it's going to be spot on.
Gives you a little breathing room on the inside there or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're setting up a bridge now so you can really work that seal in.
Something I should have done first, really, but yeah.
It's yeah. I'm kind of with you though, man. I don't want all that shit in my way.
True, yeah. It does get in the way, yeah.
Yeah, it's maybe more of a psychological thing because it's not like it's knocking anything off the bench or whatever, but it's just like, I like my blow tube to be pristine until it doesn't have to be. For a man who says he doesn't use an annealing flame, not a flame.
Yeah, that's a pretty gassy flame right there, buddy.
Heck yeah, I'll be right back, guys.
It's like a guy who's like, I don't fart, I pass gas. It's just same thing, different name. But yeah, that annealing flame is a nice bushy, gassy flame.
I'm just making sure there's plenty of heat in it before I go in and attach that little bit. So I've just pulled it straight out of the kiln here. I try and get this super hot and just go in with one move. Like generally, if I get it right, I don't even need to really hand torch it. That's one of the reasons why I said I flare that little lip outwards kind of on there.
Yeah, push in and pull out a little bit.
Yeah.
You're making it look easy, man.
Yeah, I've done this a few times now.
That's the only piece made at the festival that Bert never put a marble on.
Say again?
That's the only piece made at the festival that Bert never put a marble on.
I can't remember what. I can't remember what.
I did get a few collabs in with some absolute rock stars.
What milli I put on? Oh, I think I put my milli on there.
You're a rock star.
I did put my milli on this side. Yeah.
Yeah,
Neat.
I have footage of that.
You have like a signature, little signature millie you do.
I've got a couple. Yeah, I've got a few little millis that I make that are. That I put
Frank's
on my
millis
pieces.
are sick.
They're just super simple
Frank's
little
very
like.
Inspirational guy.
Just something so you know it's yours.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean that first milli I made. I mean I've still got a little bit of that. It still goes on the odd piece. But I made another one. What? Last year or the year before, that's been going on all my pieces now. It's like a multicolored one, but the same kind of design as my original one.
Very cool.
That is really cool. Nice way to really make it your own.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was watching that footage, like, would have been a lot cooler if it were a Mike Mason. No, I'm just playing.
Make it a bird eye.
Yeah. I did want to ask, man, what kind of hand torch is it that you've been using?
It's I can't remember what the brand is. It's like an old scientific torch, basically.
Okay, looks like a Victor or something, maybe.
I can't remember what Chlorinox, or it's got a really weird name.
Oh, okay.
You got that for scientific glass blower, didn't you?
Yeah, it is from a scientific glass blower. Yeah, but it uses the I think they're Carlisle tips.
Oh, neat. Okay, standard tips then.
Yeah, I think they're Carlisle tips. So they're like national tips, but smaller. Basically. But I do have a new hand torch. In fact, like I've had that for a couple of years, but I don't have the right tip for it. But that's another like scientific. It is actually a Carlisle hand torch, actually.
Okay.
A scientific one, but it's super basic looking torch, man. It's literally like 2 metal rods up into 2 knobs, and then just the bent neck. That's it. It's super simple.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those always sketch me out a little.
If you saw it, you'd recognize it. I had a torch previously that was exactly the same, but a different brand. It was like an English brand, an old scientific one, but it seems that it's Carlisle's design from what I can tell.
Okay. Yeah. Those always just look like some dude made them in a shed or something. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, but those tips, I just prefer to use those tips, man. I never got a.
Do you know what? Some of them torches are that old. It probably was made by some guy in a shed.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like
you got a good sharp flame on them and stuff, though, like you would a little like.
Oh yeah, that's
hornet
why
flame
I like
or something.
because they've got a really. If you use like the smallest tip, like the 0.1. Oh fuck yeah! Like it's so intense, the flame. Like I find the Smith torch a little bit bushy, a little soft. Whereas these,
unless you get like a specified tip, you gotta get like a hornet tip or some shit like that.
Yeah, you get like a literal needle point tip on these, and it's like it's fucking sharp, man. Sometimes you can make it that sharp. It'll push the glass. It's that hot. Do you know what I mean? When it
No, I get what you're saying right there. Where you're able to, it's almost like welding, and it's just kind of pushing it.
Yeah, because there's that much force behind the flame.
That's cool.
I've got two Bethlehem hand torches to give away this year.
Oh, awesome! The sharp flame torches or whatever. They
never came. They came late for customs, so I got them after the festival. I've got 2 hand torches to Bethlehem.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bummer about
I
customs.
could do with a new torch.
They're cool.
With a new hand torch. I wonder if you could switch out the tips on that for a 5-inch 5-0 from Blast Shield on the Bethlehem hand torch.
No, that one doesn't have replaceable tips. Yeah, it's fixed.
That's a fixed tip.
Yeah, but the new ones, they're modeled after like the old PME hand torch, like the old PME sharp flame hand torch, and they're nice. They're similar to the newer Bethlehems with the sharp flame center as well.
Oh, is Bethlehem doing sharp flame centers now?
Yeah, they have most of the models have that as an available kind of option. And
hell yeah,
they're nice. It's a little bit smaller. but they
Didn't
they
they
hit
used
a
to have
little
that little
harder.
like star chamber in the middle, kind of like with the Bravos, the way it's like 3 or 4 ports
that's
kind of
pretty
thing?
much what it was. And now
There's-
they do a sharp flame
Yep.
version now.
Oh shit!
Pin
Shout
Sick.
white
out
flame on it.
Mary Jane in the house. She's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to be on camera or something." I don't know.
I gotta jump out of your shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got both of those champions, man. I've got the sharp flame and the normal one.
Oh, you got it on Champions? Hell
Yeah,
yeah,
I've
it's a
got
bit
both,
much
yeah.
bigger. A bit bigger, yeah. Hell yeah. See, that's why I just went CC over Bethlehem when I was first getting torches, because that center flame on the CC, it's the needle.
Yeah.
Like on the smaller one, the number 5 or number 3 or whatever. That's why I won't switch over torches. Because I play with fume a little bit too much.
Yeah, that's the other.
Right.
When you get used to a torch, man, they're just so different in chemistry from torch to torch. Like I can use
Exactly.
a
I
Herbie,
totally get it.
I
So
can use
it's
a
a
Herbie
whole
all
new
right,
learning curve with a new torch, isn't
and I can use a
You've got to get to
GTT
grips
all
with it.
right.
it? You use Mirage, right, didn't you?
Yeah, I'll get on with GTTs
It's
just
fine with
fine. Like them. So Herbie's the same as well. I like them.
They're so temperamental up front in the beginning. I get too much anxiety. I'm like, I don't want to burn up the torch. I don't want to burn up your torch
Man, like,
face
this is
and all
James.
that. And
Glass
buddy.
Haze, welcome
Yeah,
to the
let's,
feed.
Yeah, welcome,
All right,
buddy.
good.
I'm so
Hey,
glad
I'm
you're
gonna
here,
use
man.
this to
Hope you're
jump
well,
out.
bro.
Okay, Kai, great to have you, buddy.
Hey,
And
it was a pleasure meeting all you guys.
Nice to meet
I
you,
hope
man.
you guys
You
all
too,
have a
bro.
great
Pleasure
event this
meeting
next
you,
year, and hope to
Legend,
see
bro.
more of it.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Hope to see you
Um,
soon, bro.
Easy, bro.
So
Peace
yeah,
out.
dude.
Pleasure.
Glass Haze
Yes,
just
sir.
joined us. Welcome, buddy.
Perfect timing, to be fair.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Can you hear us? Oh no, we can't hear him. It seems like
You've
he
got
can
us on
maybe hear
mute, mate.
us.
You've muted your mic, James. There
How
you
about
go.
that? How's that now?
There you
go.
are, buddy.
Inside.
Hey,
Yeah,
welcome, man.
there you go.
Welcome. So
Yeah.
great of you to join
Inside
us.
the place.
Uh-oh. What's
All right, here
happening?
we go.
Okay. Yeah, dude, you're actually one of the featured artists on this show, so I'm so glad you're able to join us. Welcome. If you wanted to introduce yourself and kind of tell the audience where you're out of and
My name is James Stewartson, Glass Haze from the UK. I make sort of scientific inspired functional pieces.
very good. Love it. How long have you been flame working?
12 years, I think.
12 years. Very good. Yeah. Well, we're in the middle of the demo here, but I'm so glad you joined us, man. You have quite a nice segment at the end of cup making, and
Cool.
yeah, I'm really excited to share that, and so that'll be coming up. I'm so glad you're able to join us, and yeah, we're just in here chilling
glad
and
to be here.
jamming and enjoying this. And right
James
now,
is also part of the UK Glass Collective, just like to point at that.
all right, I love it. You guys got like a gang out there. This is tight. Cool. Well, we'll get back to this.
I've got a gang, man.
Yeah.
Glass blowing mafia.
It's just a community, isn't it? It's just the community. It's not a gang, it's a community. Everyone's there to support each other.
Yeah.
We've got a little fund going on, a little kiln fund. We've had a few bits and pieces where we're developing our own stock. I mean, I'm going to order some benches soon. We've got a kiln. We've got another kiln, like money for another kiln. No one's decided what to get yet, but we're doing all right. You know,
That's great.
it's a good community, and it's looking after itself now. We've not got anyone taking the piss out of us. We're looking after ourselves.
I love it. Yeah, I got to be careful with that gang talk, or it'll be like the Juggalos here in America, where they're like classified as a real gang. You know?
Yeah, we're not organised, I promise.
No, you're not
from, mate,
organised.
far
Everybody else is. Gang killers and that.
Yeah.
But to
yeah.
be fair, James is from a beautiful part of the country. He's from the Lake District.
Okay.
Beautiful part of the country.
All right. It sounds pretty just on the
Yeah.
name. They did a good job there.
Yeah, countryside, hills, and yeah, so everyone goes walking and stuff like that.
I love it. That's great.
Yeah, I don't often, but I've just got sort of crosser bike thing, so I'm getting out a bit more.
Okay, I got you. Yeah. Do you guys use all trails out there in the UK?
Yeah, I've just started using it now.
Very good. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can sort by bike and, whatever it is your activity is. And I downloaded every trail in the area out there before I arrived because I knew my phone wasn't going to have service. And this year I'll rectify that. But last year we were just winging it. And, but yeah, it worked spectacularly. And actually, right here, I think we're about to see some footage of one of these hikes along Rob Roy Way. Um, Shout out Liam Neeson or whatever, if y'all remember that movie where he played Rob Roy. It was crazy though, because I actually watched it when I got back from Scotland, and I was like, I can't believe how well they
shots.
yeah, they really they captured the area so well.
Yeah,
And
really do. That's the path down to the festival.
Yeah, and this is all right in the area, you guys. Absolutely spectacular. I've never seen so many ferns in my life. There it is. They were taller than me, and I'm not the tallest guy, but this is all literally right down the street from where the venue is, you guys. Just a shockingly beautiful place, and I just felt tremendously at peace there. And yeah, magical is the word.
Special place, mate. Just any time of year, to be fair. We used to have it there in October, which was a little bit chilly, I'm not going to lie. But it made it a little bit eerie and like, put the chills up on your neck and that. You're like, wow, look at that mist over the lake. And
I think you still got that mist over the river, though, didn't you?
You do, yeah. You get amazing views. Plus, you get mushrooms in October, and everyone goes mad for the mushrooms.
Isn't it because the water's really cold or something compared to the air, and that caused the mist?
Yeah, well, the ground temperature really is a lot colder, so any humidity in the air just condenses low to the ground because it's really colder, creating that mist.
It's a real nice place. I liked it there, even though it was still wet. It was definitely nicer having it in July without the chill.
Hello, we've got Hip Dog on the talks now.
You guys are like meteorologists out there. All right. Anyways,
it's so hard to be a meteorologist in Scotland. It rains every day.
Yeah. So guys, here is somebody I'm stoked to call a friend, Hick Dog, and just he is, and he's somebody who's been I've put a camera on this man so many times, and he's always just been the most gracious person. And when we have him with us on the show, he's one of my favorite people because he speaks.
He definitely projects his passion for glass.
He does.
100% projects that passion.
He speaks very eloquently, far more than me. And he's one of my favorite people. Like I'm secretly hoping he'll just like jump in randomly here and be like, "Hey guys, what's up? It's Hick Dog." And he really is though. He's a great dude and an amazing artist, and somebody I wanted to sneak a little clip in of. This isn't the longest demo. We jumped into something where he's adding these horns. And I thought that this was worthwhile to share because what you're seeing here is he's already like bridged them up. He had them pre-shaped essentially, but here you're seeing kind of where he really takes that extra time to perfect the shaping after he has them properly run in, as we're calling it now, or whatever. But for real, like he had them bridged up, so he was able to work the seals in really beautifully. And now what we're seeing is the post moves of actually making these perfectly symmetrical, perfectly angled. Like this is like the difference between me doing it and a legend like this. Like I'll make some horns, but here he is doing these extra steps. And I think it's important to just notice, like, look at how much of it he's getting hot while he manipulates it. I think that is really key. Like that takes control, but that's what lends itself to this, absolutely smooth tapers and, and it's easy to do it once, but having them match is, really, where you see the perfectionist in him. And I thought that was a fun thing to share. And then here is the dog Skrillinger. And so this festival had it all. It's a cannabis festival, but we are in the land of whiskey, and there was a lot of cup making going on. And so I wanted to share this beautifully shaped, Encalmo, lip wrapped cup that Skrillinger made. And then we'll actually see James throw down on a foot and an attachment, an evolio, as they call it in Italy or whatever. But regardless, we're now fully into the cup making segment of the show, and I think it's just really impressive to watch how the homie manipulates this glass. He works in an almost what I would call Venetian style, working off points. You can see that he's kind of necked that point down, so he's got a little more security there, and it's perfectly centered. These are just some really basic tenets of cup making, especially if you're doing it kind of off points and in the old world style, as it were. And here, watch this gorgeous lip wrap. And I myself, just personally speaking, I like doing lip wraps at about this point of the opening. You can do them when the opening is very small. You can do them when the opening is big, but doing it kind of in the middle gives you a little more control over the final result. And doing it right out the gate, there's a chance that things will melt back a little off. In some ways, that's easier, and some folks will even, instead of doing the actual trailing of the glass, they will kind of just add like a nub of glass to a small opening, and then pop a hole through that, and then ream that open, and you end up with a really nice lip wrap. And if you get good at that, it's very clean. But yeah, I'm kind of like a middle out guy. Make compression jokes here or whatever, but that place in the middle allows it to cook back and kind of even out, but you're still close to the final result, so you can really finely control exactly how thick that lip wrap's going to be at the end. And so that's just kind of what I observed there.
That's some great knowledge.
Yeah, it might be. I'm not the best cup maker, but no, I've had the honor of learning with like Matt Escooky, and then Emilio Santini jumped in on that class even, and Kiva Ford and Robert Mickelson, and a lot of guys who are absolutely next level cup makers. So there's.
For me personally in the UK, that is Doc Glass. I've got about 4 of his cups.
Oh, nice.
Amazing cup.
Coffee cups are amazing, aren't they?
Insane.
Yeah, well, I was talking about his wine glasses in particular, but I've got a coffee cup as well. They are next level. They are amazing.
All of his cups are really good, man.
Hands down.
Something I really need to fucking practice at, man. I need some jacks.
Yep. Yeah, jacks are nice. I'm actually a really big fan of the Mickelson egg, which is just an oval shaped piece of graphite. And Taglia Tools, one of the event sponsors, shout outs. They currently make those for him, and they sell a beautiful set where you get like one handle and multiple eggs in different sizes. And the egg, I like jacks for kind of initial opening, but then when you're going into finish the lip and whatever it is you're doing, those steps are typically done with parchophy, which are like graphite jacks, right?
Yeah.
And because then you can just sit it in the flame, and it's almost magical.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what Doc uses.
It is.
Graphite
jacks.
It is.
Yeah, and the egg kind of replaces that, because you can work it in the flame, and it's almost fun to use in that you can kind of articulate the angle and hit the various angles on the oval shaped graphite, and it honestly it works very, very well. I can absolutely see why Robert felt the need to make these. So nothing against Parchofi, that's like the gold standard. But I myself, I'm an egg man. Like,
Yeah.
get all
I
Beatles
bought
on y'all, but
like, I think
There's
it's
a
like
song
an
in that.
inch and a half
yeah.
I've got like an
Cuckoo or whatever.
inch and a half thick rod of graphite, what I use, because that was basically the cheapest alternative I could find.
Yeah, absolutely. That works too.
Yeah.
It's just more fun with
it
an
works
egg.
pretty well, man. It's
Yeah,
just
You want to keep it from
chunky and a
getting
bit heavy, man.
If it
Yeah.
gets really scratched up, it
James-
makes loads of marks,
James
doesn't it?
makes decent cups as well. I won't lie. He does make nice cups.
Y'all are
I
gonna
can't,
see,
I can't
man.
miss James
I
out. He
tried.
does make very nice cups, and he makes very nice coffee cups as well.
I love it. Yeah, dude, you guys.
Centrifugal
See,
force.
when we rock
really
up to an event, first thing James will do, he will make himself a coffee cup and bench cool it.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
you
cracks
guys are.
like 2 days later.
Oh yeah. But yeah, coming up next, you guys are gonna see James Glass Haze. I was immediately impressed just watching this guy work. He has some of the smoothest hands in the game. I'm not playing. You guys are gonna see it here in a minute, but this dude's no joke. Like the boys aren't puffing him up. He really is an excellent flame worker. He reminds me of like Mattis Cookie and like Micah Evans. Like you really have it down, man.
He is our
you got-
quintessential
That
English
is,
gentleman.
quite-
You
that
want to
is
see him
quite
with his
the
straw hat on?
Yeah,
Where's the
James
straw hat,
works
bro?
super clean, man.
Yeah, homie's hat game is strong too. Y'all will see.
His hat game is strong, bro. He's a quintessential English gentleman. I'm telling you,
Got to put the effort in.
my guy.
Yeah, I hit 40 and my hat game got a lot stronger. I'll tell you that, because I started losing the hair. You know.
Yeah, Charlie. That's James's hat.
My hat,
James's
bro.
hat.
I just
That's my
noticed the
hat.
top.
James's hat.
Is that actually James's hat?
That's actually James's hat.
I figured like I wonder.
I thought I was going to ask you about that.
Quality, mate. Quality.
All right, so here we're seeing some this lip wrap Encalmo work, as it's called, and you saw he did a really good job of having those openings match. It takes me back to like Mike Nan and his 40-40-20 kind of methodology for seals. And what he means is that like there's a distribution of work kind of thing. Whereas like 40% of that work is opening that hole to the right size, having the walls even, having it centered. And then the next 40% of your work is that stick and getting it initially sealed in. And then the final 20% should really be just the cleanup phase of a seal. And the kind of like teaching methodology behind it is that if you don't do like 40% on the first, like let's say it's not perfectly centered or it's just a little out of round, you'll still be able to seal it. Like if it's way out, you'll have a little opening or something, but you can fix that, right? But ultimately, it's that the math transfers from step to step. So, man, if you do 30% on the first one because everything wasn't right, now you've got 50% on the next step because you have more work to do to clean that shit up. And if you have not done all the work in that second step of being able to get the stick right, the initial seal in, now you've got, instead of just 20% of your time cleaning it up, just a quick run around with the hand torch or whatever it'll be, Now that time is 30, 40, 50, 60% of the work because you didn't do the steps prior in terms of having those openings just the same size, having the walls even, not having one be way thicker than the other. All these tenets of sealing glass together, essentially. It's not to say that it won't happen. Sometimes you got to seal a thinner thing onto a thicker boy or whatever, but it's just something to think about. It's how the homie is one of the best scientific glass workers alive, and it's kind of his teaching methodology for seals. And I just see the basics of it really being nailed right here, whereas he had those openings just right and they sealed together really well. And so what you're going to get from that is this really even and clean band with the lip wrap and the worked section. If it's all clear to clear, it doesn't matter as much. But in a piece like this, if you go seal that clear, like the top part of that will form the top of the cup or the bottom of the cup, whatever. If that has an excess of glass in one part, it'll like pull the lip wrap down there, or up as the glass naturally evens out to kind of compensate. Shit like that. So in a piece like this where you're sealing this nice work section with a really nice tight lip wrapped band, if those wall weights aren't even, if the holes aren't round, if they're not the matching size, that's where you're going to fuck that line up. And you can just see the homie proceeding through this very cleanly because he had everything right out the gate. And so just some things that I notice and feel are worth commenting on or whatever as we watch him nail this.
Yeah, it's not easy attaching clear to color like that at all because the amount of heat you're applying into that clear, the color requires so much more that it thickens the clear right up and you get that little ridge next to the color.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want that. Yeah,
no doubt. Yeah, that's very well said. And that's where you really get into the advanced stuff where like you're not just drilling the middle of the seal. You might be subtly heating the worked section just a little more.
Yeah.
It's like it might even be hard to perceive when you're just watching like this right now, but the slightest little angle change and all that, you can kind of direct just a little more heat into the band that needs it. It's like, yeah, and it's we separate the boys from the men or whatever kind of thing, is really being able to manage that moment.
Very steady hands indeed.
Right. Look at our man here, dude. Just classic. Emilio would be proud kind of thing to watch this really nice cup making here. And
Skrillinger's got skills, man.
Absolutely. And there's a mechanic to it in transitioning from the flame to that puff out, thing. But really what you're seeing, guys, is that he is soaking heat into this segment very evenly so that, it's like you can get pretty robotic with that movement if you're just working off points or whatever. But there's always going to be a little bit of adjustment as you're making that move to like bring it all the way down. And I think having that heat in there really evenly is what facilitates everything staying super centered beyond, the manual control of it, right? So just something to think about.
That's what I find most impressive is the way he's keeping that, like you just said, super centered, mate. And I've watched that with Frank. Like he's good keeping it all centered up. I ain't gonna lie, I'll struggle with in there keeping things centered up. I find it one of the harder things of glass blowing.
Oh, of course. I mean, especially in a situation like this, where where it's not the thickest piece of glass, this isn't like a what I'm saying, boy rig,
Yeah, when so easily get off centered and twist off so easily.
Absolutely. And I mean, you could see it in the hands. And yeah, it's there is like a physical talent to it, but a lot of it in my opinion, being able to even bring it back to center evenly is predicated on having nice even heat in the section before you come out to blow.
Yeah.
And it's like, I call it dank heat, but it's really just almost comical interpretation of a concept that Boyd Seguki
there's Mike.
teaches, and he's like a furnace flame worker.
Who's that handsome fellow?
Oh yeah.
They could be there for the last 5 minutes.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he's a good-looking chap, isn't he? Hello, gorgeous.
He's all right, I guess. In any event, Boyd calls this concept buh, and it's build up heat. And in the furnace, this means, not just going in for one like kind of session and then doing your move. He'll go in on that furnace and keep it rotating, and then he'll bring it out and let it soak in and go back into the furnace and do it again. And Matiscookie, who, if you're not familiar, he makes like 1-to-1 representations of water bottles and all sorts of things.
Yeah.
And he works very thin, and he also condenses like his tubing back a bit and then puffs it out to even it out. Like that's one thing that facilitates that super fine, thin flame working, that allows him to shape it so crisply and evenly. But the other major factor is having extremely even heat in the piece before he moves to shape it or puff it out. And so that's that buh concept again. Whereas instead of just doing one little run through the torch, focused on an area, you could do it in one by kind of spreading it around and moving out further or whatever, or you can kind of heat where you want and then come out of the flame and let it soak in and then repeat that a few times. And ultimately, that deep, even heat is what's allowing them at the furnace or the flame to do incredibly precise shaping. And you can just look at it even in the camera and look at how even that heat is. There's not one little part that's glowing brighter than the rest.
Yeah.
You can see that he has really achieved this, and it's what I call the dank heat, is when you've done the buh, when you've really built that heat up properly. And like I said, it's almost a bit of a joke, but I call it dank heat. And that's what I really mean when I'm talking about dank heat. I'm talking about that, not just that heat that's hot. I'm talking about that heat that's soaked in, that is even, that is homogeneous, and that facilitates clean and even shaping. So that's buh. Shout out Boyd Seguki and my teacher, Matiscookie. Matt is truly like a generational talent. He is one of the best alive, in my opinion. Squirrelinger is too, man. Shout outs to my dog. No, just but homie is really talented. If y'all aren't familiar, you should really check his work out. He's a cool cat. He's a blast to hang out with. You'll see some pictures of him coming up. Burr, you are giving this man the extreme, just the skeptical stance here.
I've just turned round to get a bit of light on the beautiful face. I turned back into the shadows.
All right, so he's now got one handle off. He has the basics.
To be fair, mate, it was great to watch him. He made a couple of cups at the Highland Flames, and it was great to watch him. Work. It was. He knows his onions, mate. He's a master, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hands down.
This whole cup making segment is really it's really focused on this Venetian style, working off points type of flame working and cup making. James, you did an interesting thing where you did the foot with the handle open and everything, and I thought that was really neat. Traditionally, I might have closed that off and moved it to the punty and everything before I actually opened the cup, and I thought that was really cool. yeah, there's all different approaches to it, but there's a real flow to working off points, and taking the time to have everything centered. And I think these are both excellent examples of kind of traditional cup making.
Mm. Well, one of the things about pulling points is it saves a lot of time, and then so if you do it with an open end and just use the extra glass from the point itself, you can save a lot of time.
Yeah, yeah. I get it. It was slick. I liked it, kind of thing. I was just like, my man's just going right into it, kind of thing. When I was editing it and everything,
I think I needed a cup, so
yeah. No, it's really nice, and both of these cats here are just excellent examples of, not Italians who have really adapted to this style of flame working. Not everyone does. A lot of us, even like I've mentioned Roger Paramore a bit tonight, he's like a strong blow tube proponent. I'm not sure he's up for it now, but I mean, there was a point at which like Mattis Cookie wanted to have a debate with him about points versus blow tubes, and Roger was like, "Fuck no, I'm not doing that," and he was smart because it would have just been like a glass level Kendrick and Drake beef, kind of thing. We didn't need to host that. Yeah, Roger especially would have probably won that if it were a rap battle. He'd be like, "You lied when you said the point was more centered." All right.
I'm sure I've seen Roger Paramore like blow out cups and stuff, and he just does it in one move. He's just like boom.
Yeah.
In one go, and it's just like shit.
Roger is incredible, and I was lucky to have the opportunity to learn with him. And it was like a kind of an advanced cup making class. And he spent really like a big chunk of the first day just working us through, though, like his idea of the fundamentals. And a lot of it is what I was talking about earlier in the show about these thermal mechanics of the glass and how heat moves through it. And it's just so critical to the way that he teaches. And if you ever have the opportunity to learn with him, I can't recommend it enough. And he's an absolute monster on the torch, and like a deep thinker about the concepts behind every mechanic of what we're doing. And I think often about one of his like colloquialisms, and it's that like we're always losing. Like there'll be some AI glass blowing robot who never loses, but like we're not there yet. And for humans, like the second you touch it, you're losing. It's just a game of minimizing loss, losing anything but the most homogeneous heat, anything but the most perfect centered handle. All these little details are it's almost it's like a negative perspective, but like trying to lose the least, like there's something to be said for that, like in glass and in life, like figure out where you're fucking up and lose the least at that.
Yeah.
I'm not
definitely true of glass
coach though, or whatever. So all right, so the homie he opened that up, and all right, so what really happened behind the scenes, he went to diamond shear it, and it wasn't going right away, which happens sometimes. And I think that he didn't want to force it through another heat cycle, so it was already pretty thin. And so he just kind of opened it up the traditional way, thinned it out a little more and then ripped it open. So that didn't leave the cleanest connection there. So now he's just using those shears to clean that up and get back to, the thing with the shears is that like, you're not necessarily trying to cut back to a perfect circle or whatever. You're really just trying to cut away anything that's extra thick or that won't cook in evenly, right? So it's I think that's what he was doing there, just a little surgery to get it, not necessarily cut it to perfect. Like if you learn with Robert Mickelson, dude, he's like really good at actually cutting those openings to perfect, and then so that it will facilitate that. But there it was. I mean, and it might just be because those weren't the best shears. They look like the import special or whatever. But
to be fair, I think they was pretty shit, them scissors, mate. They weren't his. I don't think they was his. I think he's borrowed
fair.
them.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm sure. So it might have been
Yeah,
that.
he was next to me. No, they were shit.
He kind of just cut away what he needed to, and now he's kind of relying on the flame and these kind of movements to cook it back. You know, with jacks, guys, I'm not the best in the world with them, but there are some really fundamental tenets in terms of you're gonna almost utilize the space that you previously established the angle on to rest the tip of the jacks on, and allow the rest of it to then match the taper, if that makes any sense. And you can kind of see when he goes in, he's not just like freewheeling it, you know, and like using the jacks like spring to pop it open or anything. He's utilizing the existing angle of the glass to rest the jack tips on. Here, check it out. Watch this. You see how it's further in. And so like they really don't have much choice but to match that angle that has been established prior.
Yeah, so it's like he's resting the tips on the cooler part and then raising it to bring it out. So it's all that.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it's something you'll see in the foot footage later. Not that kind of foot footage, freaks or whatever, but I'm just playing. But you're going to see the homie here in a bit, and he'll have that reamer right into the center of the foot that he's trying to lift out. And it's just another one of these mechanics where you're able to kind of establish a perfect center there and then utilize that to, you know, guide the rest of your tool. And there's something really fundamental about that to me. And, you know, it's like, it's not just that like you're relying on that like necessarily with force, but utilizing gravity as the force and that as the guide. Those two things come together to just continue to establish the same line, if that makes sense. And now he's doing kind of the same thing from the outside. He's got the paddle resting on the part that's still pretty cold, that has the established angle, and the rest of it's hot and just being forced to clean up against it. So these are some tenets here. Like, I guess ultimately all of this speaks to the notion that like you shouldn't just be out there in free space trying to shape it out. You know, you always want to have some kind of established glass to guide that tool. So might be getting a little abstract here, but these are the things I really think about.
No, you're setting up perfectly.
So yeah, really look at this gorgeous little cup there. There may have been some stickering. Anyways, this is another hike, and so you guys saw this gorgeous mountain behind the venue. This is the hike up that mountain, and there's the venue right down there. There's this gorgeous little bench up there. I may have wrote a poem to myself sitting on it and thinking about my life. And then this is the path all the way up to the top, and this is the lock that you can see from there.
What a view.
And
what some beautiful views, isn't there?
It's shockingly beautiful, and I can't say enough like what an amazing, just beautiful place on the planet this is. And beyond this amazing event and the beautiful camaraderie and all of that, you're just situated in a shockingly beautiful place. I just had the time of my life in every way on this trip, and some of those hikes I took were just some of the best I've ever done in my life because it was just so beautiful there. And speaking of beautiful,
it's a very special place, man.
Yeah. But watch these beautiful hands touching this glass here, you guys. And this is James, who's with us now. Glass Haze Is it one word or is there a space between the glass and the haze? I wasn't entirely clear.
There's a space. There's a space, but Instagram won't allow it.
Okay, got you. Yeah, that's exactly what you have to
We
wonder.
could have put an underscore in.
I was like, is he an underscore man or not? And like, I'm not. I'm like, nah, we're not putting special characters in here. It's just gonna be Mike Mason, 69 420 or nothing at all, or whatever. Okay, so but just to bring everybody up to speed, I've been rambling about it a bit, but you're making the foot for a cup. Just more, look at that even heat before he moves out. And yeah, dude, I really did enjoy watching you work. I noticed right away, I'm like a bloodhound for this. I'm like, whoa, my man over here is working with some heat, kind of thing. And it really was a pleasure to watch you work over the event. And there's more footage to share, but I thought this really fit into the flow of this kind of special I wanted to do, and really kind of hit the pipe note, and then hit this beautiful cup making that y'all were up to out there as well.
Yeah, it's good fun. Spinning feet is great fun. Like, yeah, definitely practicing spinning feet is quite a challenge, but it's good for warming up.
Yeah, I would agree. There's a lot to it. There's like 3 simple steps, don't get me wrong, but all the prerequisite to having the handles straight and this and that, like when you can really just bang out a proper foot, you're probably on the right track, kind of thing. And here, so you've got this bubble. Do you like to squat it out at all? What are some of your philosophies behind these feet?
Yeah, you kind of want to make it a little bit like an onion shape. You almost want this sort of it to be the width of you want the foot, about halfway, down the middle of the bubble. So
Okay.
that then when you want nice and thin on the end, so that when you pop it, there's like minimal glass to join up the end, and then you just got like quite like a nice easy flare.
Okay.
You want to set yourself up for an easy flare, essentially.
Yeah, and now at this point you're kind of condensing the handle back there to center it, and is this going to be the like Avolio side later?
Can't actually see which side that is. So one side I'm thickening it up, so that all the heat from flaring the foot doesn't make the handle go wavy.
Right. Okay, that's what
thin,
I was thinking.
The point's quite thin, isn't it? So when you flare the foot, all that heat transposes back, and then it can go a bit wonky. So you want to thicken that up a lot.
Yeah. This is where Paramore kind of branches off, so to speak, in terms of closing that down and attaching like a bleb of glass and then a rod in order to facilitate that, so that doesn't become an issue. But as in in everything in glass, there's always like 3 legitimate approaches at least, and we could have like a fantasy debate, but at the end of the day, it's really what works best for you and your workflow and your hands, kind of thing. I'm not certain there's a mathematically right way, although one day the AI will determine that for us, kind of vibe. And so now you're preparing this other side to open up cleanly, is that right?
Yeah, thinning it up.
Right. And that's another one of those things, like I was mentioning just before, about like even when you're shearing it down, like it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect. It needs to not have any weird thick areas or anything like that are going to make it not cook back evenly. And I think that's about the same approach here. Is like you're opening it up. It's not going to be like a scientific hole, but everything has really been evened out. You can even see it, like even in that moment where you're letting it kind of almost cook back just a bit before you go back in to pull glass away. And so that end has had a chance to almost condense itself and be happy. And I mean, it's similar even to what I was mentioning Mataskookie does, where he'll work through an entire blank, condense it, and puff it back out, and end up with a more even result. And I mean, you could do it on a spoon even, if you're not happy with how it cooks back, puff it out, cook it back again, boom. It's going to be more even, right? Same thing just happened there, like in really quick time, just like a miniature version of that. And so now the hole is opened. You kind of let it open naturally a bit before you went in.
Mm-hmm.
Was that to kind of let it even itself out before you actually apply the tool, or just a timing thing?
Essentially, yeah, you want to thicken it up so it's about the same thickness as the rest of it. So the wall thickness continues.
Okay.
But essentially, looking at it now, I should have left it for longer before I just went in. I was rushing.
Yeah. It was a little gangster, but it didn't slow you down. And look at that, really clean, even opening. And yeah, I was mentioning this a minute ago about how you're resting the tool in the center point there. And if that point is centered and round, then you're essentially, forcing your tool into this like centered round, positioning innately. And that's a hell of a lot easier than sitting there like in free space and pretending that you're going to be able to hold it just right. So those little mechanics of like finding the place to rest the tool as you do the move, I really think I just see the best do it over and over. So it really does like facilitate clean work. And now you're just letting that hitting the inside there and making sure it's all even.
Yeah, I'm heating up any like tool marks because you get some scratches off your tool, which is
okay.
Tool's a mess.
Got you. Yep. But you're essentially happy with the shape at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Word. Yeah, looks great.
I can't remember. I'm just seeing this butcher the first time. It's not a tiny little box.
Yeah. You're like, was I really happy?
Was I? Yeah, it was.
Yeah. It's like you were happy, man. You were happy.
Yeah, you just want to keep it straight, don't you? If they're attaching the stem.
Right. And pre-warming up those Herbie grabbers. Those are great little claws. I have the same ones.
Mm.
And yeah, now you're going to attach this and actually make it a cup. Like I said, guys, hat game strong here. My man is
quintessential.
Yeah, dude.
Quintessentially British.
I know. I'd be like, oh shit, I didn't know that ska band could make bongs. Or whatever kind of thing.
That's the hat that Charlie had on earlier.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's been missing. I haven't had it for about 2 years.
Charlie, he's got your hat on.
Mate, I think he's copied me.
All these dapper boys.
Aye. That's my intro. I used to have hair.
It's Harris Tweed. It's Harris Tweed. It's nice.
Yeah, and remind me the homie's name who's posting up in the background here. Not Matt, who's walking by, but this other dude who's just kind of like been like your silent Bob the whole time.
That's my mate. That's my mate Tony.
Oh yeah, word. He was a nice guy. Just I couldn't remember his name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's an absolute dude. Yeah, he really wanted to come and he gave me a lift and that, and yeah, it was great having him there. It was fucking yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. He was posted up proper, dude. He had like an entourage.
Is he the guy learning to blow glass with you?
Yeah. When he's not got his kids and stuff like that, yeah, he's
cool.
learning a bit of glass.
Very good. Cool. I'll be right back, guys.
So talk us through what you're doing then, James. Keep us entertained.
I can barely see. What have we got?
It's finished it now.
Oh, finished. Oh yeah, well there you go, completed.
What's your next step? Have you got a cup already made?
I don't actually. I can't remember. I think maybe this is just footage of me getting on with something else. It looks like I'm about to make some color prep.
He was fucking mad, but he didn't even know he was there. He's just realising it was at the festival this year.
I have to be honest, I'm not sure I remember.
Fucking, that's where I was. I lost it 3 days.
Legend. James is an absolute legend.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think I must be making the top of the wine glass now.
Yeah, you'd already made that. This footage, I was kind of just coupling the cup that had already been made. I'm not sure I have footage of that, actually. We have some really amazing footage of you working on like pipes and stuff, but I think you may have already made the cup. But the foot was so beautiful that I really thought it was a great coupling with Skrillinger making doing the cup, and then you're coming in with the foot, and bam, we have a full cup demo kind of thing. Not really, but close enough. Kind of.
Yeah, nice little segment.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Yeah, I really. There's quite a bit more footage, and we'll do some more shows that are focused on this event because it was just one of the best times I've ever had in my life, flat out.
And we'll do it all again.
Really
this year.
Yeah. I'm
only
really
2 months.
forward
Only 2 months away, man.
July the 12th, people.
This year I want to bring a bit of a different approach. I am going to kind of change my camera setup and really try and do something a little more cinematic. I've documented flame working process so much. It's time to do something a little more comprehensive and a little more documentary about the event itself and the people there and the places.
Dive into the community side of it.
I really do. That's kind of my motivation this year, and my thought process is as I've been poring over this, I'm like, I want to do it a different way. It's not that I'm not happy. This is your boy, executing on what I've been building towards for many years now. I just feel
it will be very creative, Mike. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it's time for a little change there, and a little more focus on the people. And yeah, it's not to say I don't want to film flame working and process. We'll mix that in, but I think about something that will
get you. It's a new world to all your audiences. They don't know about what's happening in the UK, what they're all about. So it'd be great insight for them as well.
That's exactly what it is.
And stuff.
Like, there's a real story to be told here, and not just for flame workers. And
everyone's got their little story.
Yeah. It's been my honor and dream and everything to do exactly what we're doing here, for our community, with this really, really, just locked in focus on process. And but there's bigger stories to be told, and I think it would, I just think about what would be the best thing for me and for the community, and something that might connect more with our customers, for example. I don't feel there's going to be much loss though there in terms of, like, for flame workers. Like, are you guys going to be mad if it has less flame demos and something where, like I said,
think you've got to capture the vibe of the event, to be fair, mate. That's, for me, that's what it's all about. The whole vibe, the magical, you need to get that across. Everyone's seen, you obviously have flame working, but it don't hurt to throw everything else in as well, because there's so much more to that place than just glass blowing. It's a whole vibe, it's a community.
I agree.
Completely. Everyone who's there has travelled, right, a hell of a long way. They've got 7-8 hour drives. trains, planes, and automobiles to get there. They've paid for accommodation. Like, people have gone out of their way, and that's even the Scottish people, to get there to accommodate themselves for the weekend and absorb it. And it's growing each year. It's getting massive. I've not missed one single one. I don't think, Frank, have you been to every one?
I missed the first one.
Oh, right. But yeah, he's been to everyone since. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's just grown exponentially. It's still growing, and it's getting better and better. And
Yeah.
like I say, it's great to see people now coming from the very bottom of England, like Brighton's at the very south coast. They're coming all the way up to Scotland and not just one or two, like, and then there's people from Cornwall.
Big
Devon,
Hamish to the cult
they're
comes to
flying up.
Cornwall.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
gets ticket number one. Hamish.
Big Hamish gets ticket number
Man
one.
yeah.
like Hamish, mate. Yeah, like
Shout
people
out to him.
traveling.
Yeah, really cool guy.
And eventually, you know, it's going to get to the stage where just your normal American customers and glass lovers, not glass blowers, but just glass, they're going to come. They're going to make that effort to come, because they're going to, if you can portray the vibe, the community spirit, everything about it, if you can portray that, which I know you will, I'm telling you, mate, people will want to come from the States as well. And you know, it's only a little event at the minute. It's going to get bigger, 100%.
Yeah. I think that is the challenge for me this year, is to try and capture more of the social vibe and and kind of step out of my comfort zone a little bit, because I like, no regrets or anything. I'm extremely proud of this type of documentation that I've done for the glass world, and capturing a really special time. And there have been amazing people who have kind of been able to bring up that other end, you know, like Slinger with Degenerate Art, and even like shout out to my boy Nate, man, with the Head Life. You know, he comes out and he does like the recaps for Glass Vegas and a number of other events. I mean, these are beautiful, you know, short encapsulated, you know, documentaries of what these events were, and you know, more talking with the artists and getting their perspective on it. And you know, just having you guys here with us while we share it has kind of been, you know, my way of supplementing that. But you know, this is more of it's a different thing than what you're able to present when you're able to capture all of those like quintessential elements in real time at the event, and talk to these people there, and you know, while their hearts are still soaring. And it's not to say that all of ours aren't. It's just there's something to be said for capturing a little bit more of the social side, and that's going to be my
Like
approach.
I say, these people are making huge efforts to get up there, so you definitely feel the love from all the people, each and every one of them, 100%.
Yeah, and they've got stories to tell, and they all connect to the bigger story of what's really happening out there. You know, as this
Exactly.
functional flame working movement, you know, goes worldwide, and
it's growing, mate. It's growing massively. It really is. Like, more and more people are putting on events with glass shows. They all want the glass to be there.
Sure.
And that's what, like, me and Frank have been doing, and the rest of the team is making sure that we've got all the equipment and stuff to just rock up and put an event on and crack on. Like,
yeah, that's really great. And you guys have like a central studio space you're utilizing, or?
I suppose Mellow Glass is really is the biggest studio we could group together at, and he don't mind having a little like group collective coming around together. We have done in the past. Normally go for a commercial size studio.
Yeah, nice little sniffer glass there. Is that the right term? I'm not certain, but this was Sterling. Me and the dogs headed over there, and really beautiful. There's an amazing castle there. I'll admit that Sterling, compared to Glasgow, felt like a bit of a tourist trap. Like, all the cathedrals want you to like pay money to get in, and the castle was like a looter. It was like 40 euros, or I forget. It was way too much. Look at how beautiful it was there, guys. This was the trip of a lifetime, and just incredible. Despite
Soulfire.
yeah, Soulfire, Dina, somebody we really got a chance to talk more here than at any event. She's always scared me a little with that mask.
She's a lovely
Not
lady,
gonna
such a
lie,
lovely
but
lady, beautiful soul.
just kidding. She really is great, and she's just one of the most thoughtful and interesting people I've gotten to know through this glass thing. And this is actually the segment that's gonna close out our show. And this was a piece that a ton of various artists at the event all threw in on, like a huge group collab. And just if you guys aren't familiar with her work, this is kind of where her head's at right now. These incredibly ornate pieces with, just a lot going on, all within a theme. I just saw an incredible piece of hers out at the Flint Institute. Museum quality pieces here is what she's making, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to get a little marble on that piece.
I love it. And so here, guys, the work is mostly done. And I thought this would be cool to see, because it's like, okay, you've made this huge, crazy thing. How the fuck do you get it off of that blow tube, and into the kiln? And it's this. It is gloved up, matted up. There's a few approaches, but ultimately, you're just gonna have to hold this thing and work it. And I thought this was really neat to see. And look at this beautiful piece. Just so much going on. And she's just really taking her time. It's just what we were talking about earlier, allowing that glass to condense and even itself out. Here she doesn't really have air access, so that is, kind of multiplying the difficulty level. But, you see she's just watching it and working it and watching it and working it. And then moving to the new angles as she sees fit to kind of let this glass flow around and cook itself back into a nice, even base. And that's what we're seeing here. I shared a really amazing demo she did at the Glasscraft and Bead Expo with this like little flower piece. And she was really talking through so many fundamentals of sculpting and constructing and working with glass. And so it's almost one-dimensional what we're seeing here compared to her skill set and what she's up to. But I thought this was a really beautiful way to wrap this show up and share something that's actually really important if you want to step your work up to something this comprehensive. So, yeah.
Dina's like the first lady of glass.
Oh yeah, and here we go, the first lady of glass events or whatever. There, Amy Short with the assist. Homegirl needed a glove on there. She was using just one glove at first, and that it's easy to like harp on the mechanics here and the skill, but a lot of times, guys, it's just having the right protective equipment. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't have the right thing and you're like cooking your hand through a Kevlar sleeve that's rolled up or something, like just get the mat, kind of thing. Careful with those mats though. They apparently will outgas some pretty nasty stuff. But yeah, here she's got it to the point where it's really nice and evened out, ready to actually hit a graphite pad and flatten this bottom out. She found some mossy rocks to accentuate her bench space. Amy Short with the nail game on point. And yeah, look at this beautiful piece. Got that torches robot on the side, like all kinds of little pieces from everybody.
It's got a nice thistle on it.
Yeah.
One star butterfly, a Burtango marble.
Yeah, I slipped in.
Guys,
Another one I slipped in on.
thanks so much to these sponsors of mine who have made this journey and documentation possible, and again to the Highland Flames sponsors. I really can't thank them enough for making this amazing event possible. Charlie, thank you, buddy. Thank you so much for putting this event on, bringing all of us together, and for bringing me there to have one of the best times of my life. Straight up, like this is it. You have really, between the crowd that came out, the people you brought out, the really nice setup, the beautiful location, all of it came together. This was the best trip of my life. Certainly the best I've ever taken in this glass documentation thing I've
All
ever
about
done.
location.
I can't thank you enough, brother.
Mate, the first thing is you're welcome. The second thing is you better mention my partners or I'll get my head kicked in.
Who's that?
You better mention my partners. I only helped set it up. You better mention my partners or I can be kicked to death.
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, huge shout outs to everybody out there. I mean, Gibby took us all around Glasgow, and all these cats that were there to help. Of course, it's not just you. An event like this requires a genuine team, and yeah, let me be clear. The entire team of folks who made this possible, like I thank them tremendously. And it was just
big shout to Sweeney and Big Mo.
Yeah. Sweeney, holy shit! Like I watched, and I see this at pretty much every event. There is a dedicated team of people who genuinely believe in the vision and work their asses off so that a whole bunch of other people who never have to touch or even realize the tremendous effort that went in so that they can have this special time. And yeah, I can't thank you enough, man. You killed it. Again, homies,
Big up, Charlie.
The Highland Flames, you guys, I'm not fucking around. This is like your bucket list glass trip. If you can't make it this year, so be it. But like, this is the one. And flights are actually pretty cheap, guys. Like, we're talking under $1,000 to get there. And this area of the world, shockingly beautiful. The people were incredibly kind. Just everything was right about this. I endorse it like with every fiber of my being. I got some fibers put into my being to kind of honor this event, man.
Speaks volumes, mate. That speaks volumes.
Yeah, buddy, look at that. Now, this is a Japanese woodcut thistle. Everybody kind of did their own thistle thing, but ultimately, thistles, that's like an important flower in Scotland. I was actually researching this, and it's a great story. There were like these fucking Viking ass dudes trying to roll up on the Scotland homies, and apparently one fucking goofy dude stepped on a thistle, and he was like, "Ow!" And then he woke up all them Scottish motherfuckers, and they rolled up on him and just were like, "Sorry, son, you're not fucking with us right now." And since then, the thistle is like the Scottish flower, and yeah,
mate,
it means something to me now.
Obviously made up with some Scottish guy. What really happened is the Vikings rolled up and kicked their ass.
Listen, you're talking to a bunch of Vikings now, bruv.
I know, I'm a Viking.
We're all Vikings. Every one of us.
James is that Viking.
I didn't want to say it. I mean, it did kind of seem like a bullshit story, but
he's posh.
Yeah. Well, guys, I really can't thank all of you enough for joining me tonight and helping.
It's been great. Thanks for having us.
Share this.
Thanks for having us on, man.
Yeah, like you guys brought that love and energy that I felt out there. That's all I wanted for this show. You know, like I knew the footage was right and all that, but I needed the homies to know how chill all y'all cats are, and how
Fantastic footage, mate.
these are our brothers in glass, and like, be it you guys coming here, like Charlie, it was so awesome to see you out at Glass Vegas, or like, and homies, I think it's time for us to get over there and see what we've done. Like, look what we've done, guys. You know what I mean? Like, we blew up this pipe thing, and now it's worldwide, and
huge influences, mate. Exactly.
Yeah, and
led the way from day.
Least we can do is show up and check it out and have an amazing time.
This year's going to be bigger and better. There's some huge names coming. I'm hoping some epic things are going to happen this year.
Yeah, I am.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait
to share it. Yeah, same. All right, guys. Well, I will not keep us beyond this. We came and we saw and we did the damn thing. And I really do appreciate you guys for joining me and making this a really special broadcast that kind of brought home like why I feel so strongly about this event. Like, this event was it. And I love it. I appreciate you guys. I love y'all. All right.
Thanks for
having us on, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Good night, everybody.
Peace out.
Yeah,
peace out. Hope to see as many people there as possible this year.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of months, Mike.
That's right. Hell yeah.
See you soon, Mike.
Guys.
Take it easy, man.
Peace out, guys.
Yeah, man.
See you later, Bert. See you.